types of sports with Schoode and Tor. Football discussion on the internet.
To be honest, I knew we was going to lose as soon as I saw Russell Wilson doing hot yoga, listening to Enya in the aisle on the team playing like a jackass with his old Urkel looking ass. I'm tired of his fruity nickname too, Mr. Unlimited My Ass. The only thing unlimited about him is fucking turnovers. He's definitely a virgin. I haven't won a playoff game in 8 years, and I'm always around 500. I'm basically the black Jeff Fisher. Even Doc Rivers thinks I'm an average coach. I always say the standard is the standard, and that standard is a 9-8 season and getting our ass beat in the first round of the playoffs. Look, once I get to the playoffs, I check out. My job is done. I start planning vacations and shit. The last time I won a Super Bowl, Nancy Pelosi was still a fine piece of ass. Now her tang smells like a fucking truck stop shower. Despite this loss, my expectations for next season haven't changed. And those expectations are to do just barely enough to keep my job. To be honest, I knew we was going to lose as soon as I saw Russell.
Oh, boy. My favorite part is when he says he's definitely a virgin. Oh, man. The problem is I get caught up in those AI coaching deals, and every once in a while, like they did one for Jerry Jones after they let Mike McCarthy go.
Mm-hmm.
I probably watched it for 30 seconds thinking it was him. I'm like, man, he's fucked up. Like I knew he's weird, but like he's off his meds or something. And then I realized it's, you know,
some of them could be overwritten. It feels like, like there's not enough space to punch in the humor if it's all jokes. And it feels like sometimes I feel like it's best to just let the AI voice do the talking instead of just every 3 seconds, here's another punchline right over the head.
Oh no, that one was pretty funny. He's Russell Wilson's fruity. He goes, his nickname's definitely Fruity. Oh boy, here we are. It is both types of sports. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Chad Dukes. There is Gigantor, and I scarcely even know where to begin. If you are listening to this, we recorded it Monday at 5:30, which is pretty stupid because there's still a playoff game. But that's just what we had to do. There is a goal, Tor. I just want you to know that today. There is a goal. If you're in YouTube right now, you can see it at the top. All it takes to help us get the goal is the wimpy super chats, $2 super chats like this one. Thank you, Danny Diaz. Great shirt, Tor. Handsome young man. I'm not sure I follow.
Thanks, Danny. I appreciate it. I think I've never done any shtick with this shirt, so it might just be a genuine compliment from Danny. So thank you.
So it's a shirt. It's a long sleeve shirt and a short sleeve shirt, and it's a dog. It's a dog shirt.
It's the worst brand of T-shirt because it's a long sleeve T-shirt where it goes down to about the elbows and makes me look like I have toothpick forearms.
What I don't know what's going on. Is it like a brand or something? I've never seen a shirt like that.
My parents just went here and got me this shirt. It's the Black Dog Brewery or something, and it's just got a dog on the front of the shirt, which I will wear every now and then.
I really like. If you and Danny Diaz are running game on me right now,
I promise you, I'm not running any game. It's just a shirt. It's simply there's rarely a time I'm not trying to make any type of statement with the wardrobe.
Okay. All right. I feel like somebody's getting over on somebody here, and I know there's my bank account ain't any fatter. Oh, it is now. Corey, what the fuck are you doing? We just started.
Oh.
That only counts towards one super chat, towards the goal. Spindler. Corey read a $49.99 super chat in Jaden We Trust. Indeed. Thank you so much, Corey. I want to start there, but you didn't get a chance to listen to the Chad Dukes show today, did you, Tor? I imagine you were at work.
I have not been able to catch up on the Chad Dukes show fully yet, no.
I want you to ask yourself this question. And when we talk about it, I want to see if you can come up with the same answer that I did. I think the Ravens win was bigger than the Commanders win. And on the surface, that shouldn't be, because the Ravens go to the playoffs every year. The Ravens go to the AFC Championship game every year. The Ravens win their division every year. The Ravens pound that ass for the Pittsburgh Steelers every year. It should just be the logical. And we all thought they were a Super Bowl caliber team, and we thought Pittsburgh would maybe make the playoffs, and they did, and they were escorted out for their troubles. I still think potentially that's a bigger win. So ask yourself why that question is, and ask yourself why Corey Rita would drop a $49.99 super chat. We weren't the only ones that were excited about Jaden Daniels slinging them things, spinning it against Tampa Bay in the big sombrero last night. Did you see there was a celebrity in the crowd, Tor?
I did. Yes.
This is Malik Neighbors. Celebrating in Raymond James Stadium that the Washington Commanders beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's not really putting many sentences or suppositions or...
He's so happy he can't even formulate a sentence, Schoode.
I can't understand anything he's saying.
Very happy.
He's real quiet, right?
Yeah, when he's with the Giants, he is.
He's jacking off the air. Now he's "You Can't See Me." Those aren't fronts either, right? Those are diamond teeth.
Yeah, the athlete money is real diamond teeth.
It's the worst video I've ever seen in my life, but it was making their... I didn't know Malik Neighbors was an idiot, but I guess he is. Here's a question I have, Tor. And if you couldn't put together what that was by the video that we just played, if you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify, it was Malik Neighbors in Raymond James Stadium. It looks like celebrating when the Commanders beat the Buccaneers, a division rival. We all know that the smart marks are going to pretend like this doesn't matter, that it's all a business, that they're above it, that they know that the quarterback and the wide receiver are friends and former teammates and all of that. I don't know how. Why can't you just go sit in the box? Like Jason Kelsey was rooting on, his brother's team. Like we've seen this before. Like go watch the game. I just don't know why you wouldn't avoid all of this by not posting a video of you celebrating a division rival winning a playoff game after turning in a season like the New York Giants did this season.
It's amazing how far we've come in the buddy nature in the NFL. It was just over 10 years ago, maybe. I think it was around 2013. Colin Kaepernick, before he was starting all the big troubles, he was a radio topic for 2 weeks to about a month for wearing a Miami Dolphins hat to a party, a cookout. Just wearing a hat, not out in public, just kicking back, took a picture of it, uploaded it to a very infantile Instagram at the time.
I took calls on that. I remember it very well.
And it was covered like hell. And now you've got rookie wide receiver star Malik Neighbors front row watching his college buddy, which it's not the first time an athlete's gone to support each other, but advertised front page on his Instagram, not like he was caught by some fan where he was just in attendance cheering. No, advertising his fandom and support of Jaden Daniels while he is currently in division on the Giants. What a trash franchise they are. This is something that would have happened to Washington years ago. I could have seen it. I everything about this, it all seems and sounds like a classic Washington football team headline, and it's not. And it's finally the Giants that are truly the basement in the NFC East.
And it wasn't that long ago that there was a boat, a seafaring craft carrying a large group of New York Giants skill position players that ultimately signified the falling of Babylon. The time that the Giants would be relevant came abruptly to a close. One Daniel Jones playoff fart in the wind aside, they've just been a laughingstock ever since then. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know that. Maybe he doesn't care. Clearly him and Jaden are tight. They were the whole off season. They're all over each other. Whenever they are playing against each other before the game, they show a lot of that stuff. We saw a video of Derrick Henry jumping on Marcus Mariota. I don't mind that stuff. These guys all went to college together. to me, I think we can be adults and read the room and know that we've got thousands and thousands of angry fans that you just don't need to chum the water. And that's something I took away. One of the few negatives about it, if you are a Washington fan, we should probably start there. I wanted to start the show tour by thanking the Washington Commanders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because up until that game, 50% of all of teams in attendance for the Super Wildcard round had no desire to play football. I mean, in a way that I can't recall for years past. And a couple of, long shot touchdowns aside in the Baltimore Ravens game, blowout after blowout after blowout. And it was embarrassing. Like, the Chargers' performance was embarrassing. Denver has one play and then they get absolutely run out of the building. The Houston Texans have been kind of an afterthought for the entire second part of the NFL season, and they steamroll. It was a horrible weekend of football that for the first time in my life, you know me, Tor, I want more football. I love the fact there's a game on Monday night. Like, stretch it out, give it to me. I want to contract the playoffs. I want to get some of these asshole dick riders that don't they're not supposed to be there yet, but TV money's too damn good. So here we all are. No, I wasted hours and hours of my life watching bad football until Tampa and Washington showed up, prepared, ready, battle-tested, popping fucking pads, popping helmets, guys knocking each other out. They wanted to be there regardless of outcome. They deserve some praise for saving us from a week of putrid football.
I'm not upset about the hours that I spent watching. It was the hours before that I spent getting excited for the matchups is where I feel the fool, because I thought Philly, Green Bay, oh, that's going to be a doozy. Like these guys are going to be geared up, ready to go. Green Bay is going to put on an air show like they did in the wild card last year. They didn't. They stunk, fell flat on their face. Some really bad performances, like the Chargers. Unbelievable how little they showed up. That was incredibly disappointing to kick off the playoffs. I know I get the bit. We're sticking Houston at the 4:30, 3:30 slot. That's the market that they reside in so far in the NFL. But that punishment does not suit them, as they're one of the few to actually attend their matchup. I was frustrated with thinking that they were going to be good, and then it was, that was a boring first half. Maybe we'll get saved by the second half. Nope. There was hardly any fight from the losing teams in the second halves. Really, really rough, but hopefully that shapes up for an insane divisional round. It felt a little bit like this last year, and we got some real good theater in the second round.
Yeah, because the good teams are there now. All the bad teams have been sent home that didn't want to play.
I share your frustrations in the weekend. I thought that maybe we'd see an upset, and the Commanders fans, trust me, you weren't the scrappy underdog that you thought you were. It was a 3-point line. Other teams in the first round were getting favored by 11 points, a la Buffalo and Denver. It wasn't as spread out as you would have thought it was. In my opinion, it was more of a pick'em, and I think it would have been a pick'em if it was in Washington somehow.
Tampa was the better team, in my opinion. They were battle tested. They were a division winner. They've been there a couple of times. Baker, I think, is a guy that can move the ball up and down the field on anybody. Mike Evans is fantastic receiver. They got a back that hits the hole as fast as any running back in the league. Levante David all over the fucking field, and it was home field. I just thought they were the better team. Washington's there too early, and they should not be taken lightly anymore by anybody. I don't know if anybody still is, but I said this to, who was I speaking to? I was talking to Dane. Dane's coming on Chad Dukes versus the World on Friday. And he was talking about, man, I think they're going to lose. And I was like, I do too, but here's what I know. If it's within one score in the fourth quarter, you're a fucking fool to bet against Jaden Daniels. Like, you just haven't been paying attention. And I heard Dan Quinn talking about how nervous he still gets. And he called himself a duck on the water with the legs churning underneath and you can't see it. He goes, Jaden's not like that. It's ice water in the veins. And look, Terry's a great wide receiver. I don't think he's a top 5 wide receiver in the league, but with that guy out there, he is. They couldn't even run the football that well against that team. De'Ami Brown, like, they just have heroes pop up all over the place, and it's because that the quarterback is good enough to make everyone on offense look better. The coordinators, the head coach, the defense. I don't know what the Buccaneers were doing, not throwing the ball more from the onset. They probably could have thrown the ball over the field on that defense, and they're trying to establish the run, and it was a slow start, so it's 3-0 halfway through the game. The difference is Jaden Daniels, and I tweeted this out, he's got no business being able to elevate a franchise. First of all, it's the most complicated thing in the world to do. Toward you're one guy of 11 out on the field and one guy of 52 on the roster. These are enormous bloated entities. It ain't the NBA. And he's lifted the entire fucking market. And he looks like he's 170 pounds and 7 feet tall. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen.
It was incredible to see him last night. In my opinion, he elevated himself from very talented and savvy rookie to a guy you cannot give an extra opportunity to. If you are Detroit, that means that you can't have Jared Goff pick show in the first half and think you're not going to get scored on.
Yeah,
maybe it's not every time, but in that second half, you cannot put the ball on the dirt. And Baker did that on that unfortunate play. And then it cost them. That cost them the game. You gave Jaden Daniels one extra opportunity to go down and just be a Grim Reaper, and that's what he did. And then the fourth down play, he gave Baker a little bit of his own medicine with Mayfield's awesome fourth down extension against Abosa, where he gave him a stiff arm converted earlier in the season. Last night, fourth down, let's go ahead, run it with the quarterback, stiff arms a massive defensive lineman, goes forward for the first down. Just incredible theater. You can't say enough about him. I mean, it's the cool hand. He looks like he's been in the league for 5 years, and somebody's going to eventually treat him like that. And they're going to beat Washington, but they better do it quickly if they don't want this team to, I guess, keep rolling with momentum.
You better be up 10 with 1:10 to go. Like, that's the only way you're going to beat him, because if it's within striking distance, there's just someone's going to get rattled, and it ain't going to be him. I've never seen anything like it out of a rookie. We've seen rookie quarterback. CJ Stroud was amazing last year. We've seen guys play well at a young period of time. I've never seen anyone play at an MVP level from the jump and nearly tape to tape. The hits he was taking in that game are fucking ridiculous. I don't know how he's walking them off. The one he took on the sideline where he gets popped when he's up 3 feet in the air, I thought he was dead. I didn't think he was injured. I thought they're taking a body off the fucking field. He's more durable than Griffin. And I'm only comparing it because it's, phenom rookie quarterbacks. And Griffin did amazing things in his rookie year, and they went to the postseason. It didn't feel like this. It feels like this team can. By this time, Griffin had a big knee brace on, and everybody could kind of see the writing on the wall before he collapsed against, I think, Seattle, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels feels like you ought to win a Super Bowl by himself.
It's like he's made of rubber somehow, where it's a cartoonish fall. It's a cartoonish hit every time. Pops right up. Oh, yeah. All right, we're playing football. I love it. I love everything. His demeanor after he gets hit, he's not whining. He's not calling for a flag. Get up. I'm the quarterback. I'm going to lead these guys, show that I'm a tough quarterback.
Is that a shot at Caleb Williams? It feels like a shot at Caleb Williams.
It wasn't intentionally a shot at Caleb Williams, but he could have done a lot more work in his own favor to look like he wanted to be out there playing football and not flag football. Jaden Daniels does not look like he would be want to be playing flag football. It's tremendous what he's been able to do. And I mean, he's doing it with Terry, old ass Zach Ertz, De'Ami Brown, who's been a ghost for most parts of the year, Luke McCaffrey, and fat Jamison Crowder. I love big fat Jamison Crowder catching touchdowns. It makes me so happy. It feels like I'm back in 2015 watching Kirk Cousins go up and down the field. It's great, but that is not a serious fourth receiving option on the team. You know what? After seeing the film, I'm trading both starting defensive tackles for Malik Neighbors right now. Give the Giants some depth inside. We'll take the star wide out.
Also, he only had 13 carries for 36 yards, but I feel like a lot of big plays were made with his legs toward picking up a first down, extending a drive, and he's got this innate ability that I don't know who else has it. I wouldn't say Lamar has this or Josh Allen, but it looks like a busted play. It's like we covered everybody. He didn't get 30 yards up the field. We're good. But then he's gained 7 yards. Like just out of nowhere, it's 2nd and 3 because he squirts out to the side. It's just he's deceptive with his rushing attack as well. I can't believe they just must know something that we don't about his durability with how much they run the ball intentionally with him. There's so many RPOs in that offense. Want to get to 10 super chats to Mata School. Al Sal, thank you for the $5 super chat. Corey is the super chat hero we need, not the one we deserve. Yes, he was been that all day today. I don't know why. Thank you, Al. Enoch, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. What's the good word, my solid dudes? Happy Monday. Talking ball. Enoch, thank you so much for the super chat. Glad to have you with us today. I'm going to go talk about the worst movie I've ever seen in my life after this. Tor, I'm going to send you some clips, and you'll never speak to Tuber ever again. Not like you had plans to.
Oh no, come on.
I mean, I can't even believe what I just sat through. I want to talk a little bit about Bucky Irving. I really love guys that can hit a hole quick and get up the field quick. And they did not have a lot of success running the football specifically in the first half. But by the second half, that dude's quick. He's slippery. He's got that twitch. I think he's going to be like a little Bijan next season. I think if they do right by him and kind of make him a bigger part of the offense, he went over 1,000 yards this year, though, right? Like, I mean, he had a decent season. I don't think that his potential has even been scratched yet. And we're dealing with a league. I talked about this a little bit earlier on the Chad Duke show, but Saquon, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, the running backs, again, not only are they valuable, Tor, they're fucking difference makers. It's like, let's take this playoff team and we need to give them something to put them over the top. Let's get one of these elite running backs. Everyone in the league had a shot at all of those guys, and they ended up where they ended up, and look at where those teams are. I mean, you could throw Josh Jacobs in there as well, but he was, I think, a bit more high profile than most people, I think, would relent to. I don't know. I really think that in a league where the running back is coming back, he's going to be a really good one moving forward.
Bucky Irving, 1,500 scrimmage yards, 8 touchdowns on the year.
How many rushing yards did he have?
1,100.
Okay. All right. So he's over 1,000 rushing. Yeah.
He's going to be
a weapon, man.
He's going to be an absolute pest in the NFC South because he's not, all right, we're going to dial him up. He's going to break 270-yarders in front of your face, but he's going to, every time he touches the ball, he's going to get more yardage than expected. If you think you have him bottled up for 2, he's going to get 4. And that is just a slow bleed. He's a body shot guy where all throughout the fight, he's just going to wear you down. And then even if he's not winning the game off of a big 30-yard touchdown, he's icing it. He's finding a way to absolutely put the dagger in you just because you can't get him on the first hit. If you do, good luck, because the next time he touches the ball, he's going to juke 2 of your guys out, get the first down, and he's just a chain mover. He's an offensive, just an offensive heartbeat. It's great, and they just find talent in Tampa Bay, and they consistently roll out the best standardized home uniforms that I've seen. Red on pewter.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Give me as much as possible. It was a great sight to see, and I caught this. An industry friend tweeted this out. He said that Tampa Bay has one of the best night viewing venues. Raymond James Stadium always translates well on the TV. And I was watching a little more intently last night. It does. They've got a tremendous field for watching playoff football games. I think it's one of the more underrated TV destinations in the league.
I've been there twice. Fantastic place to watch a game. It's warm into the autumn months, and they have a great variety of foods you can eat because you're down in the South, and it's great. If you ever want to go on a roadie to see your team, or just go down there and root for the Bucks, it's a fun place to see a football game. The Commanders, they certainly have no fear playing there in the postseason, and I wonder. Chris Godwin's been out for however long he's been out. They look like they were down a weapon, Tor, and you're right. If Baker Mayfield's going to take the bag and get $50 million guaranteed, $100 million contract, 3 years, whatever it ended up being, you can't be the reason everybody can point to and say that one play. But it did feel like he's not on that level that Jaden is, where Jaden's going to elevate Zach Ertz, right? Like he's going to elevate Crowder. He's going to elevate all these kind of cast-offs outside of Terry. Baker's great, but I feel like he needs another weapon. It'll be interesting to see if they go and pursue that, because I don't know. The Buccaneers were one of those teams, and to be fair, Washington was too, where I had them written on the short list of, this team could make it to the NFC Championship game. I wouldn't want to fuck with these guys. Like, I don't want to see them right now. They seem like a team that could go in there and bang on. And to win the division 2 years in a row after Tom Brady leaves, it's very commendable, especially when it was against all odds, certainly this season, what with the arms race that the Falcons put on. But I can't help but think that Todd Bowles seems like he's a good coordinator and he's had success. And I don't want to mitigate what he's accomplished, but I don't know. One of these coaches, the Belichick types, maybe Mike McCarthy, I don't know. It feels like if you could get somebody in there that's at just of a little bit higher level motivationally, or a different scheme, I feel like that the Buccaneers are ready to take a step to the next level. And they're so squirrely with their coaches and the way they've traditionally handled them. I don't know how much that's held them back, other than Bruce Arians and Tom Brady.
Yeah, I thought last night was going to be Kate Otten show where Mike Evans gets in the mix, but we're going to have to rely balance, heavy press on the tight end. Otten's a fine tight end. It wasn't that, though. And Bowles to the fan, I think, it appears to be a terrible motivator. Every time he talks, it seems like he's just woke up from a nap.
I get that vibe too.
And every time I'm like, why? Where are you? What planet are you on? But he could just be one of these weirdos that's constantly in like that perpetual locked in state, and he's been in it for so long that he just doesn't leave it. And if that means that the way he delivers his words is being processed in a different way than how he's picturing it in his mind, I'm sure it's all just a cannon fire and a war field up top. But when he talks ball, I'm like, wow, NFL coach, NFL head coach, leader into the playoffs. What's that pregame speech like? Yeah, all right, awesome. Can I pop an Ambien to wake myself up a little bit? Thanks, Coach Bowles. I'll be ready for kickoff. He's done enough for me to not have tremendous critiques on him as a head coach, but there's still meat on the bone, I think, from general desire out of him.
If I'm looking, I view them kind of like the Colts, where I look at them and say, there's something off here. I don't know if we're dealing with a coach that isn't pushing all the buttons they possibly can. The Buccaneers are not as unhealthy as the Indianapolis Colts are right now. I should say that. Enoch, $5.90. Thank you so much. I know you already mentioned about how fun is it watching what JD does in the fourth quarter. It's not just that it's fun for Commanders fans. As a football fan, I don't know what to think of it. Like, it's baffling to me that he can take over a game at his age. And just, you can have it, you never had confidence in a moment like that years ago. If you're a Washington fan, it's like, we're going to figure out a way to lose this fucking game. There's one thing that happened. I don't know if Enoch feels it. I don't know if you feel it, Tor. Terry was always a good receiver, but he's got that feeling now when they throw a ball up to him where I'm like, oh, it's either a catch or it's a PI. Like, it's
right.
Don't even let him fucking look in that direction. Santana was fantastic. I mean, we've had some pretty good wide receivers in Washington. You go down the list. I've never felt that way, in my adult life about any weapon that Washington had for the most part. And the way that you feel when Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson or any of these guys, like, oh, fuck me. Don't even one-on-one coverage. We better start walking down the field right now. And his stats weren't exceptional yesterday. They were good. They were solid. But I feel like he made so many plays where we're going to get a penalty or he felt like an intimidating weapon out there with Jaden Daniels in the pocket. It's a new feeling for anybody that's been pulling for Washington the past few years.
Jaden Daniels did such a good job on Sunday night of making the Bucs respect him on the first drive where they got to third down and it could have just been, all right, we've seen the 3-and-out first drive playoff punt. Everyone's just getting settled in. Let's ease the nerves, give the ball back. Now the real game starts. He threw it deep to Terry, huge connection, kept the drive going. And from that moment on, Tampa Bay said, we actually have to pay attention to the sidelines now. We have to pay attention to Jaden Daniels taking the deep ball. And they were on high alert, high notice for the entire 60 minutes because of it. He's not afraid to take the deep ball and throw it accurately, throwing it as good as anybody else in a league right now. If we're talking 30 yards down the field, 1-on-1 with my guy, Jaden Daniels has earned that title of being able to be trusted with that throw as much as anyone else.
If you would have told me, Tor, that in the first half alone, Mike Evans was going to get targeted 4 times when being defended by Marshawn Lattimore and have 4 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown, specifically a touchdown where they're lining up on the 1-yard line, and instead of a sneak or they're just throwing it to Mike Evans right in front of Lattimore's face, like he was going to be a fucking bust in that game. And you'd have Redskins fans all over X saying, oh my God, I can't believe they're actually playing well in spite of this guy. They're trashing him left and right. That performance was going to get turned in against the best offensive weapon on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they still were going to find a way to win. That's big boy shit right there. We're here in the postseason, and we're going to beat good teams, and we're going to overcome turnovers. We're going to overcome bad performances. Like, that's championship caliber shit, overcoming a performance like that, and leaving yourself time to finish them off. That was, I did not see that matchup going that way.
The apologists would have been happy with Washington losing that game, and they would have made the points of why Tampa Bay is so good. And it's a lot of points I think we've made tonight, but they don't have to in this one because maybe it may. Gosh, it takes. Maybe it is a new era. Maybe it is a new leaf being turned over. I keep on seeing evidence week in and week out of it improving, the culture in Washington improving. Obviously we won't see a home game from them in the playoffs, but it seems like the actual attitude around the team, whether it's Dan Quinn or ownership, they keep on trying to prove that point that things are different this go around. And good. I hope so. I really hope they are, because if Mike Evans was doing that in the first half in a playoff game in 2019, he goes for 180 and a touchdown, and he just sinks you in the third quarter. Yeah. And that didn't happen.
And it's also like Levante David was all over the field. He had 8 tackles and a sack, and he had that one. He ran down Jane Daniels had to go 3 yards to pick up that first down. And he got this 47-year-old linebacker fucking out of nowhere running him down and knocking him out of bounds. And he might retire. That might be his last game. I know he signed a 1-year deal before coming into this game. They overcame all of that. I mean, they overcame some pretty impressive performances to win on the road. Before we move on, because I want to talk about the Ravens, I want to talk about some other stuff, but this is all great. That's a big win. That's a successful season. How do you keep DeBurner fired up? You're going now. They're going to hang 40 on you, okay?
Yeah.
The Lions are going to put 40 on the board. Can Jaden and Terry go out there and get 45? Can they get 46? Because that's what it's going to fucking take to beat that team. You got to go into that building, too. That building's fucking nutty. You think Tampa Bay is good at night? It looks like you're living in a lava lamp inside of Ford Field when they play football. So, I mean, to beat them, fine. Of course, that's the better. If they go in there and they're competitive and they take it to the Lions and they put the fear of God into them, I can't even imagine what the projections are going to be for the Commanders in year two. Year 2, when the rookie quarterbacks are supposed to finally start playing like pros.
It would be insane. Detroit is just they're Herbie fully loaded. They're not just loaded. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. If it's not him, it's Sam Laporta. If it's not him, let's look at the running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh, who else do we have? Oh, Josh Reynolds. Oh, cool. You're going to be very serviceable. Oh, and then the suspended guy. Yeah. Oh, Jameson Williams, game breaker type speed on the offense is just so loaded. I don't think Washington is going to. I don't think they're going to be able to make a stop. You're going to have to turn over Jared Goff on a great disguised coverage. I don't think
Gibbs, though. He loves turning the ball over still.
And Detroit is definitely depleted on defense, and it's going to be a lot of talk about, hey, their defense isn't that good. Our offense looks pretty good. Maybe we have a shot. I know, but I think that Washington's going to have to punt a couple times, and the Detroit depleted defense is about as good as Washington's regular defense.
All right, so Jared Goff had 8 picks in 2021, 7 in 2022. He has 12 this year, and the difference in this past game tour against the Buccos was a turnover. So, yeah, your defense is going to need to go out there. And I mean, Bobby Wagner and that whole unit, though, they do seem to be opportunistic. You probably need 2. You probably need 2 interceptions that go back the other way for points to give yourselves a shot. And I think if it's a track meet, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how anybody keeps up with them until the championship round. Like if we get to it's Philadelphia could maybe do it, but even then, I don't know how much I trust Jalen Hurts. I think the best opportunity for the Lions to get derailed is going to be in the Super Bowl, most likely against the Chiefs again. But man, if Washington can go out there and hang with them and make it a game, first of all, how valuable is it? How many fans, Tor, are they winning right now? Young fans. We all know that younger people are bandwagoners. That they're not. The tribalism isn't there for their teams. They follow players. You got the young, exciting superstar that everybody else wants to have right now. Better than Bo Nix. Better than Drake Bay. Better. Shit, he should be in the MVP conversation if people were being responsible. They're going to, marketing wise, turning in a great performance against the Lions is going to pay massive dividends for Washington.
Every single Northern Virginia middle school should be littered with Jaden Daniels jerseys. They should be They should be strewn across the lockers. There should be so many up strewn. Yeah, they across them. Just a jackass. And if it's not this year, then it's next year. Like you shouldn't be able to take a step outside in Northern Virginia without seeing somebody in a burgundy 5 jersey. What he's done for that city, the organization, everything. He should be the most popular player in town. I expect them to have a good game against Detroit. I think it's a turnover and then turnover on downs. You have to be able to stop a Lions 4th down play. They're cut from that same weirdo cloth energy as Washington is, where take points. No, go fuck yourself. We're Detroit. We're Washington. I'd rather eat a bunch of sewing needles than take the points or punt or do anything but go for it on the 4th down. So we'll see.
Sewing needles. That sounds absolutely horrific. We only have 34 likes. Hit the like button or we're leaving. I'm not going to sit here and be insulted like this. And also we only have 16 minutes left to get 5 super chats. $2 will do it. But yeah, you either make that happen or it goes very poorly for our viewing audience. I ain't threatening you with nothing. You know I respect you. All right. I did pull this up because how can we do a football show in 2024 without sucking this man off? And I think you know who I'm talking about, Tor. And look, Lamar Jackson's the MVP. Fine. I'm not going to sit here and go get into a race war with everybody about Lamar versus Josh Allen. They're both the MVP. Give it to both of them. That being said, Derrick Henry had more rushing yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers and that vaunted defense than Baker or Lamar or Bo Nix or Jalen Hurts had passing yards in the wild card round of the playoffs. Tor, stiff arm after stiff arm. He's 4 yards up the field before anybody in Pittsburgh starts pretending like they want to tackle that motherfucker. And I don't know. If you better get up 10 points on the Ravens quick, because you got to get him off the field. You got to get him, Lamar back there in the pistol, throwing the slants, throwing his garbage. Like, you got to I don't know if they're going to have Zay Flowers back, but if the Ravens are within 3 points of you, good fucking luck, because by quarter 2.5 quarters in, Tor, nobody had any desire to tackle Derrick Henry this weekend.
A nice lump of money was won on betting on Derrick Henry to eclipse 150 total yards. Easy, and I'll take the same bet again this week. I don't care who they're facing. Just absolute playoff tank. Just Sherman tank running between the A gaps. Go ahead, go low. He's going to run over you. You want to go high? You're going to get stiff-armed into oblivion. Sorry, Micah Fitzpatrick. Nice try. I honestly, you just got to. It has to be a perfect form tackle on this dude. And a full season. He had a full season in Baltimore, not a sparing workload by any means. And it looks like he's hitting his season's prime now, where he's got the juice, he's got the absolute the hustle, the strength, meeting everybody, meeting the moment. Just such an impressive running back, and he's a huge part, if not the biggest part, as why this year should be proclaimed like year of the running back. The renaissance, the resurgence, whatever you want to call it, it came with Derrick Henry getting signed to Baltimore and teams saying, oh, well, we got to figure out our running situation, because we know if we get down to the end of it, Baltimore's probably going to have a better running back room or better running game than we do. And that's still to the chagrin of every broadcast company, everybody that tries to cover football objectively. I know you want it to be passing. I know everyone wants to be air out, no tackles. The game is still won on the ground in between the tackles with a big horse running back running through the faces of your linebackers.
Somebody pointed out in the chat here, but Patrick Queen like leaving to go and play for more, like that's him in the background right there. I don't know if you're a Ravens fan. Look, first of all, don't get mad. People have been getting defensive players for a generation, played with Ray Lewis, and then went and got paid someplace else. Like it happened over and over again. I think people should get past that, but it's got to be uniquely satisfying, which brings me to the original point that I had of why I think the Ravens win over the Steelers is a bigger win than the Commanders over the Tampa Bay. I'll get to that. Let's get caught up here. Enoch, thank you again for being so generous today. $9 super chat. Even I, superfan number 1, can concede that Motor City is the end of the run. Oh, wait, before I get hashtag raise hail. Still embarrassing, Enoch, but we'll go ahead and raise whatever you like, my friend. I'm sure it was all raised during that game. Thank you very much for the super chat. And Corey, thank you again, putting the stream on your backs. $9.99. Raise hail is the worst. I'd say Enoch is better than that, but he keeps saying it. Yeah. I'm kind of on that side of the argument, but hey, to the winner go the spoils. Enjoy yourself today. Dawn, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Commanders don't have a chance against the Lions. It doesn't matter. First of all, they do. You're fooling yourself if you think that they don't. They do. I think Washington's got a chance against anybody left in the tournament, because if they can keep it within one score into the fourth quarter, which they've proven they can time and time again, I don't know who you would take. Would you take Mahomes over Jaden this season and 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter? I don't know anyone that I would take over Jaden Daniels right now.
I'd still take Mahomes. They're also already writing the injury. I hope you didn't get your fill last year, Schoode, with the ankle injury and the hobbling.
Oh, the fake ankle injury?
They are already writing that script up real nice.
They're feeling themselves.
How about the bye week? And he got that ankle all fixed up, and he hasn't played for about 23 days. So we're going to see a nice, fresh and limber Patrick Mahomes first quarter. Oh, it looks like he's down with that ankle. Hopefully that doesn't. That's not a sore spot for the rest of the postseason run. So I've seen the story. I still think it's Mahomes is who I'd most want to have 3 minutes left in the fourth.
If it was any other team, I don't know that having my star tight end spurging out on his in-season podcast that he'll fight the Bengals. I don't know if you saw that whole clip with Travis Kelce when they're asking about, hey, did you guys take the fucking knee to not let Cincinnati in? But he's like, we can take it up in the parking lot of the. First of all, you ain't fighting anybody. Secondly, I saw what you wore to that tennis match with fucking Taylor Swift. You're not going to fight a fucking soul. And then also, I don't know if it's a good look that the last game of the season you get fucking boat raced, and then you spend the next week and a half trying to convince people that you're not scared of Cincinnati. If it was any other team, and Andy Reid wasn't the coach tour, I would be concerned about that. But something tells me the Chiefs are going to be just fine, and they're going to go out there and wax the Houston Texans.
He was off his rocker and McAfee today. I heard his spot. It was just he sounded elated that he didn't have to play that last week, and he sounded elated that he didn't have to play Cincinnati. So as much as we want to go into Travis Kelce, big, strong, tough man. Oh all right. Shoot, Cam.
Hi, everybody. Just want to show you where your place is right there.
Yeah, sure.
Big, strong, tough man. I like that. Enoch, thank you, bud. Is there any position that is more disrespected in today than the running back? I don't think that's true anymore. I mean, that's what we were talking about. I don't think that's a true statement. I think you can look and point directly at 4 franchises. And this is with Christian McCaffrey having no impact in 2024, Gigantor. Arguably the best running back in the league, arguably the best running back of his generation, not named Derrick Henry. So I don't think so. I think people are going to look at it differently, and teams were ahead of the curve. They started paying these guys. The Indianapolis did it. Baltimore did it, and the Cowboys were criticized the entire season for not doing it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's disrespected anymore. Maybe an MVP. Maybe voting for the MVP. All of that still shies away from respecting the running back.
The real contenders that you like to look at here have running backs. Ravens have the running back. Bills, James Cook, fantastic year. He's awesome. A running back you have to worry about. Eagles, obviously Saquon Barkley, running back. And then Texans have a running back. Mixon, fine.
One of the best.
And then tonight's game, Vikings, Rams, they both got good backs. And Kyron might be better than Aaron Jones. So everybody moving on, basically with the exception of Washington, it has a real back that they can work with, but Washington's got the quarterback. So we could divvy out the cards, and everyone's coming out about even if we're talking about the ground game, but it matters. The star running backs are going deep into the playoffs, and including Detroit, 2 very good running backs. And their whole success this year was based on Montgomery and Gibbs having such good years.
I'm going to say some disrespectful shit right here.
Oh,
and you tell me how out of line I am, okay?
All right.
You put Mahomes on the Commanders this week, they still get waxed by Detroit, okay? Mm-hmm. You put Jaden Daniels on the Chiefs this week, they destroy Houston, and they still go on to win the Super Bowl.
I don't think you're that far off. I think Andy Reid, looking at Jaden Daniels, he could put up.
It'd be nutty. It would be nutty.
He could put up a script a quarter for that dude, like he's been doing with Mahomes. I think you would plug and play, insert super talented quarterback for super talented quarterback. Yeah, the limitations for the Commanders are with the exceeding 22 that are starting. It is not with the one guy that you got to divvy the ball out with, which again, congratulations. I will continue to congratulate you. You won the lottery. You should be celebrating. There should be a parade this offseason, no matter what. Throw your own parade. Go to DC, throw your own parade, and just celebrate and choose a day to have fun because you have a quarterback that you get to watch. That is solid.
Let me ask you something. Do the Broncos have a brighter future than the Commanders?
No, but they're close.
Do the Patriots have a brighter future than the Commanders?
No, they're behind the Broncos there.
Do the Chargers?
Oh, no, the Chargers don't either.
These are all playoff teams. What about the Bears?
Bears do not.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know who the next wave of quarterbacks that we see. Nobody in this draft. No fucking Shedeur Sanders in Tennessee or wherever he fucking ends up, or the Raiders.
Yeah, it's gonna be a year or two. This was an awesome crop.
It's not just they won the division. It's not just they won a playoff game. It's, oh my God, we don't even have any weapons for this guy yet. Oh my God, we still have holes on the offensive line. Like, we start putting this together. You don't think people want to play for Jaden Daniels or with Jaden Daniels? They do. They do indeed. Can you read some of these, Tor?
Yeah, Iron Ball. Oh, great. Iron Ball Sack, $10. If the AP weren't a bunch of sissy nannies, Henry, Chase, and Barkley would be in the MVP talk. Go Bills.
They should be. They should be.
I'd like to see them discussed.
Yeah, Joe Burrow should be in the MVP conversation. They just can't be. It's boiled down to two players, and then of course it's boiled down to what they always want us doing. The white guys and the black guys. Robert Griffin III's divisive ass and his fucking tweet about Justin Herbert. I'm like, bro, what fucking planet are you living on where you think that guy's not being criticized today, where he's not being called Kirk Cousins 2.0? Stop fucking being divisive for divisive sake to go out there and get fucking impressions on a tweet. I've had it with that dude.
And then he's trying to walk it back with some like Tomlin and McCarthy discourse. I think some of the stuff that RG3 has done in media post playing, I haven't minded. I think he's actually pretty charismatic on camera. If you find yourself responding to RG3 on Twitter, you just are in a lower sect of humanity and class when it comes to talking ball. That is about the lowest common denominator is the comment section under RG3's baiting ass posts.
He's Dom Kleeman. He's any of these one are engagement farmers. He's a fucking engagement farmer, which I don't necessarily mind, but you don't need to, like, people are fucking prickly with each other concerning shit they don't need to be throughout all of humanity. You don't need to be dumping gasoline on the fire of this current iteration of our society. Thank you. I'm gonna climb down off this particular high horse. All those guys should be getting MVP votes. You're right, Iron Ball Sack, and thank you so much for the super chat.
Corey Reed at $10. Steam for Bills, Ravens, Allen, Jackson, Henry. Can't wait. Should be the best game of the weekend.
Yeah, I pulled it up. Hold on, let me see if I got it over here. Yeah, here we go. So Houston at Kansas City. That's the worst game of the weekend, in my opinion.
Yeah.
4:30 Saturday. Washington, Detroit is the late game on Saturday. That is a good game to get turned up to, Gigantor.
Love it. Have a reckless amount of Bro Dogs coming up this weekend. So that game on Saturday is going to be a madhouse.
Oh, I didn't get no text message here. I guess maybe you got twisted up. You're switching over to Wi-Fi or something. Sunday, Minnesota or Los Angeles at Philadelphia. Good game. Either way,
yeah.
either one of those teams. And then Baltimore, Buffalo to cap it all off. And as we always said, Tor, we've said it every single season. This is the final week of the year for real football fans because you only get 2 games in the championship round. And if one of them's a stinker, it is what it is. You only have 1 day of football. And then the Super Bowl ain't for us. It's for all the beehive. These are the best teams. There's games on both days. We've got all the wheat separated from the chaff. This will be the best weekend of football, hopefully, that we had all year long, specifically after what it was a very disappointing college football playoff by most people's standards, and that would have been a somewhat disappointing start to the NFL playoffs as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I like that the Sunday final game is at 6:30, and they're not jamming it in at 8 o'clock, 8:20 on a Sunday. I love that. You can even extend the game for all I care. Let it run till 10. Just draw it out if we have to. I also saw a friend of the show, Kyle Brandt, acknowledging that this is the best weekend for football. Going through the exact points that you just made,
stealing my bit.
It is going to be tremendous. And if you are somebody that has not taken 1 inch of a step towards any fitness resolutions, any dietary resolutions, you might
start
as well
next week.
Just hold off, and that's right here, person number 1 on that line. You just wait right behind me after this week of football, and then we can maybe start get the jump rope out. And
I thought you were about to say getting jiggy with it, and I was going to ask where the shit that came from. Iron Ballsack says he would play Eckler every play and bench Robinson Jr. He's awful. He didn't have a very good game. Eckler, you got to be careful. I don't think Eckler can be out there every single snap that you want him to. He is still a difference maker. I was trying to explain to Anthony, we were watching the game, and Eckler sucks. I was like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about and the ways that he contributes to this team. But I just don't think he can stay out there and be durable.
Oh, Joe Azer, $10. Love you, boys. Love the show. Control the clock, and we got a shot on Saturday night. Big ask, but possible.
It's not just control the clock, though, Azer. It's you got to get stops, because you could go 9-minute drive straight down the field, and, the Lions are very capable of going out there and scoring in 90 seconds. I mean, you need 2 stops to go the other way, maybe a pick 6, maybe a safety, something like that. And then, you need to control the ball. That's why the Ravens was so dehumanizing, Tor. They're just methodically running the football down the field. And I was at the first quarter and just taking the fucking heart. You saw it with TJ Watt was a non-factor. You saw it all over his face. Hayward, all those guys were frustrated. They were banged up. They were hurt. By the end of it, it's like, I'm tired of tackling this sledgehammer. They took their fucking guts and balls away from them in the first half of that game.
There were a couple games where it was over in the first quarter. You could just feel it. That was one of them where Baltimore was running at will. If they get started that early, it's not going to stop. And then in Philly versus Green Bay, opening kickoff, you're going to force a fumble opening kickoff with a huge hit like that and invigorate the link with all those crazy fans. Green Bay didn't have a shot. I don't care what the score said. They did not have a shot with that stadium getting that active that early. You just cannot. It is too hostile of a place to play away. And I thought they were going to have a stronger medal. But for Detroit, clock is clock. But when they break out the most disrespectful trick play you've ever seen in your life and completely snatch your soul out of your body and just take all the hope. The trick plays with Detroit is weird because, like, Lou Holtz would always go on Jags about the trick play. They use them when they know they're beat or when they know they don't have anything else to use. I think Detroit does it to demoralize and to absolutely intimidate in a complete different manner, saying, we're going to get 20 yards on you. And we're going to do it with a double pass. We're going to do it with a fake fumble.
It's so disrespectful.
And you're going to be sitting there already struggling with our base. And we're going to keep you away from any sense of comfortability on defense all game. Their usage, I think, is way more creative than just a fake punt once like we saw in Denver. No, they are going to try to keep you on your toes for 4 quarters. I don't know how you prep for it. I don't know if there is a trick play specialist that you could bring in to say, hey, watch out for this. When a lineman checks in, they're going to go to this double reverse. That's what I'd be worried about.
The Lions are so disrespectful with their trick plays. Like, they really should just, have a little grainy video of your wife blowing the neighbor's cat or some shit. Like, I mean, just some shit where you can't, like, you flip over the plate at the wedding dinner and it says, I've been screwing your best friend. Like, they don't slow developing and cornball. Like, what are you doing? Are you dribbling right now? I can't believe the hustles that they've gotten away from. And I will say, Tor, that I was wrong about this, but I stand by it. That shit where fucking Dan Quinn just kept going for it, not kicking the field goal, that was driving me nuts. And they ended up winning the game, and I know they scored on one of those times they went. But I say this to the Commanders like I say it to the Lions. Their season is going to end. Maybe not, they're just going to lose to the Lions. But the Lions season, and mark my words, is going to end on some bullshit where they go for it on their own 33, and the ball gets tipped up and it gets ran back into their season will end because they make those calls with their balls and their dicks, and then they blame analytics for it. I don't go for that shit.
They're supposed to have a good kicker too. It's not like Detroit is resting, sitting with the 4th kicker on their team, which we heard plenty about last night. And the second time where Washington scored on a 4th down, that was after the Baker fumble, where they gave the ball back to Tampa after not converting a 4th down. So that wouldn't have even happened. The second score to bring it tied or to take the lead wouldn't have happened if Baker didn't just have tiny hands. And it gets turned around and you score on a 4th and 6 in the end zone. So you get pushed to 2 4th downs. You split between 2 drives. Is the average of a 3.5 point split gonna absolutely determine the game compared to maybe we get a field goal and then a touchdown? I'm so team take the points.
Me too. Especially in the playoffs.
I can't get swayed, especially in the playoffs. If you want to talk about we're gonna try to get away with one in week 5, I could rationalize it. This is the playoffs. You don't have another week after this if you lose.
Especially in a team against Tampa Bay. It's not like, oh, we got to score now or these guys are going to blow us out of the water. It's like you match it pretty well. Thank you to Joe Azer. Oh, Tor.
Spy report.
We got a spy report here. Let me turn that up. I'm not sure.
Spy report.
I think that's me and Biker Sean saying spy report.
Spy report.
Very weird. The Patriots of New England introduced their 16th head coach in franchise history. I think Jacksonville's already had 16 head coaches. They've been around for about 80 years less. The New England Patriots try to bounce back from a consecutive 4-13 campaign. They have been irrelevant, and Mike Vrabel will look to resuscitate that. Couple of just sweeping, overarching thoughts on this tour. This guy couldn't get a sniff last year. This guy took a consultating, that's not a word, gig with the Cleveland Browns to cool his heels. And now all of a sudden he's the hottest candidate. We got to get him in right now. And we got to do these bogus Rooney Rule they did it. It's weird to me, especially with Mike McCarthy not signing with the Dallas Cowboys. Is like, bro, are you sure? Like, did the fucking Bears tell you that you were their guy? Like, how is this going to work? There's a lot of pushback from some groups of Tennessee fans where they're like, Vrabel inherited a division-winning team, and he did all right, but the past 2 seasons he had a losing record. The worms turned for a couple of people on Vrabel. I think that's bullshit. I think you listen to players and teammates of his, and they realize he's just the man in the room. And without right opportunities, I think that he can go. They have $130 million in cap space. They got Drake May. Is it the 4th or 5th pick that they have? They're going to be able to add an offensive lineman or a weapon. I think you're nutty if you don't believe that the Patriots are going to be 5 wins better because of Mike Vrabel, and then probably by season 2 contending for that division.
I guarantee the Patriots are going to steal one that they shouldn't next year. They're probably going to steal multiple that they shouldn't next year just from playing their asses off. They do have the number 4 pick. You can basically, you got your quarterback. You can get whoever you want there, BPA, whatever you want to do. If you see a position fit that works for you, go ahead. Take a reach. I don't care. You have Mike Vrabel coaching these guys up. You're going to learn pretty quickly if they can ball or if they cannot ball, and it's going to be the best 11 out on that field that he sees fit. And maybe this was just him playing chess and saying these are the jobs that I would want. And this past off season, maybe he didn't really want many of them. And maybe backdoor channels, he's just said, don't even interview me. It's fine. I'm going to go take a year, put my feet up, and then I'll get the Patriots job after a season. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some crazy tampering situation that gets dropped in March on a slow Friday. And then we have a whole week's worth of, the Patriots, they were illegally texting with Mike Vrabel while they were in season about a possible next head coaching opportunity. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me anymore. I think every team tampers. Any team that doesn't tamper is sitting behind the 8 ball with no choice. Either get with it or you don't. It's a great hire. I thought Mayo actually at times this year had this team playing above expectations. I thought the Patriots played hard this year, but I guess if you're accustomed to winning a bunch of Super Bowls, 4 wins in a season just isn't going to cut it.
Will you do me a favor? Do you have your phone?
I do.
Will you go to Bill Belichick's Instagram?
Yes.
And then tell me the last time he posted on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Because they made a big deal about all that. All the pictures with all the recruits and the fact that Coach Belichick's on social media now. He's got that $10 million buyout we all know about, where he basically can leave UNC, can leave Tobacco Road before the spring game. And I was watching a bunch of stuff today that they seem pretty goddamn sure, Tor, that there's a very good chance he never coaches a game for UNC. When's the last time Coach posted something?
December 30th.
Okay, so what the fuck has he been doing?
Yeah.
Been real quiet, right? Been real quiet. Well, here he is with all of his shirts, and he's joining the family, and he's with all these kids. And then what's been going on for the past few weeks?
I've seen a couple photos of recruits, but I don't know exactly when they were taken. I think that there are a couple opportunities that opened up. I think that Vegas intrigues him, even if he doesn't want to let that creep
Tom
through his
Brady's
mind.
there. We know that Tom Brady's reached out. We know that they've spoken.
I know that Dallas probably intrigues him for some reason, for the ego possibility. It's a $10 million
better than Mac Jones. CeeDee Lamb is better than whoever.
$10 million buyout before June 1st. It's January 13th.
You don't think Jerry landed Bill Parcells? Jerry's gone the home run ball before in doing this. You don't think that he would stroke the $10 million check if Belichick's willing to go there?
There is ample time for Belichick to get cold feet, and for college buyouts. If UNC really didn't want him to leave, they would have jacked it up, because Texas A&M bought out Jimbo Fisher for $65 million just to not coach for them anymore, and that was 5 years. He got a golden parachute. He can go build his own compound in Texas, live without working another day in his life if he wanted to. He will. He'll go coach somewhere, and just he can't stay away. I don't think Belichick can stay away either. And this was a nice little idea, I think, that he had going and doing some college coaching. But when the paperwork starts piling up, I think he's going to really start looking towards that NFL lifestyle again.
Let me ask you something. If the Bears want to talk to Marcus Freeman, the head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, why wouldn't the Cowboys want to talk to him also? The
Cowboys should be on every phone call that every other team is having for their head coach search.
I'm guessing a lot of these coaches grew up a Cowboys fan. I'm guessing it's possible. They should broaden their search. Pretty dirty though, right? Like to deny McCarthy the ability to go speak to Chicago and then not end up re-signing him. And what they're saying is it was because it was the length of the contract. Like he just worked as a lame duck head coach for had to hear about his job being insecure for the entire season. He probably wanted 2 or 3 years. And I'm guessing Jerry told him where he could pound that.
Yeah, I mean, McCarthy had an awful year, and he's had a couple awful years with clock management, and somehow his resume always is better than what you think it is. We're 3 playoff berths and 5 seasons as a coach for McCarthy in Dallas. Still feels like a disappointment. Still feels like, wow, they really didn't do anything. And that's because their playoff losses were embarrassing. It was the throw to Zeke at the end of the game where he gets lit up against the 49ers. It was getting absolutely reamed out by the Packers at home, where they put up 28 unanswered on you in the first quarter. Just some really good debacles and messes to watch unfold for Dallas. And at that point, Jerry's saying, I built the team for you. I got you the players. Yeah. How did we lose these this badly? How are we so flat? So I completely get them moving on from McCarthy. And when those initial reports came out that Dallas was saying that his job was safe, and I was not taking that bait. I knew there was something rotten in Denmark when that was coming out. You just knew it wasn't safe.
So Mike Zimmer's, you're not bringing him back, and then are you paying your defensive player after you paid 2 of your? What is it? Is it a rebuild? Like Jerry's 75, 76 years old. He ain't gonna want to rebuild. He's the GM. What type of a gig is it? If I'm Belichick, I don't budge for that gig. Like that's not the type of gig that I sit there and I see how it goes in UNC. It's just the rest that they don't do very well. Then maybe some of the shine comes off of that particular bejeweled fucking tiara. But
I want the Harbaugh gig if I'm Belichick. That is, I mean,
was that Chicago? What is that?
Honestly, it might be Chicago.
Maybe it's
but does he want to battle with the Packers and the Lions and the Vikings?
What if the Rams go into Philadelphia and do the Eagles? You don't think it's possible? You don't think it's possible Todd Bowles might get fired? No, they do wacky shit down there with the head coach all the time. The Lovie Smith, Dirk Cutter fiasco. Like they do wacky shit all the time with coaches in Tampa Bay.
He should mail a parcel of his own shit to the Saints if they call. And if the Jacksonville Jaguars call, he should add some dog shit into it.
I agree.
So don't even bother. This is coming to your front door. You have the balls to call me during while I'm working at your Jacksonville. No, I hang up and you are getting the shit mail after this because I'm Bill Belichick.
Shit mail.
I'm better than you.
The shit mail. Tor is brought to us today on both types of sports by Dream Stay Getaways. When you're booking your Florida theme park vacation, avoid the fees. Book these amazing houses. They're on resorts, directly at dreamstaygetaways.us. They've been our sponsor all season long. Thank you to them for making it possible. Again, go to dreamstaygetaways.us. Beautiful homes right outside the parks, on resorts, plenty to do, movie theaters in the house. Great for kids, great for vacations, and avoid all those fees. Book directly. I would recommend booking directly with as many places as you can that aren't named Vrabel because they just want to put it in your pooper. That is not something you should say during a live read if you're aspiring to be a broadcaster. Dreamstaygetaways.us. If you're traveling to see the Pawks and to get out of the cold this winter, highly suggest you stay there. Very good. Big verbal nod to Danny Diaz, Corey Reed, Al Sal, Enoch Boateng, Dawn Livesley, Iron Ball Sack, and Joe Azer for doing the super chat bit. Today we hit the goal, which is very, very good. Espindola, where are you watching the game tonight, Gigantor?
I'll be in my bedroom, just chilling, just watching the game.
Not even out in the living room? We can't even venture out into the common area?
I don't know. It gets a little toxic in the living room. We see other people in the complex and start. I like when we're watching the college football playoff. There'll be a bunch of people. We can look down in one of the living rooms for the apartment complex, and there's like 6 dudes and a girl watching it, and all we did was carve them up. So that didn't feel like it didn't feel positive. So I'll just try to watch this game.
Why don't you just not do that? Why don't you just not be a peeping Tom weirdo?
Because they're dorks, and it's fun being a peeping Tom weirdo.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Seeing them split a pizza between 7 of them.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you bring it on yourself if you're doing some bizarre shit like that. All right, very good. Podcast available, iTunes, Spotify. Please leave a 5-star review. Chad Dukes versus the World returns this Friday, 2 to 6, right here in this space, youtube.com/Chad Dukes. Show Johnny Cakes. Alvin will be my guest. Ben Valin's coming on. Big Dan. Oh, man. Should be a very good time. And we know when Tor goes to the buffet, he doesn't like the short ones. He likes the long one.
Hey, what do you got?
Both types of sports.
Yeah, what's it do? Go long. Real long.